Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Monday, September the 2nd. We are in September. Isn't that crazy? I just finished walking Keo, so he will relax for the next couple of hours. It is not quite sunrise out there, but it was light enough. And ran in here, slammed on the camera. Need to clean my glasses so I can read the things here. Hope you're having a good weekend. Mine is not bad. Let's see if I can see through those. Don't you hate it when there's always one spot that moves. It will do. All right. Good morning, Kim. Sorry for the news, but there's closure. Do you want to share any details if you want to or not want to? Certainly up to you, but very, very sorry. Cajun says, "Morning, everyone. I read Granny's Got a Gun yesterday for Spy versus Spy, and I really liked it. Yay! Yes, and I found another that might work for you, and we'll go through that. So what we're going to do today is I don't have to go to work, so there are tons and tons of cozies. So we're going to go through all of those, and then we will do Spy versus Spy, or we could split up the cozies, do some Spy versus Spy, or and then finish with some cozies. So let me know in the comments. Let me grab some coffee. Uh, so I crocheted a lot on Saturday, particularly during sprints, which is why I do sprints. And then not as much yesterday, but some. And then today I hope to do some more, but no, it's not going to do it. There it is, a little bit. So the wedding bedspread, um, and I confirmed yesterday with my neighbor, it is October 19th that their wedding is. So I've got like 48 days now. He says, "Thank you. I don't need anything other than the basics." His aunt didn't know any details when she texted me. Gotcha. All righty. So hope you don't mind. Normally I sit up at the front of the couch so I have better posture. Since we're going to be here for a while, I'm sitting back. I'm comfy. I am clothed. I do have makeup on. I'm so gonna miss this time starting tomorrow. I always let it play, but don't get to take part. No, no, I never put off calls until after. Who told you that? They're watching. They're always watching. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. We're supposed to celebrate Charlene's birthday today. Oh, well, celebrate life. Do it. Do it still. But honor, but still celebrate life. All right. So, book wise, I'm almost done with my first Spy versus Spy book, Triple Cross. Let's see, 83%. So yeah, I'll finish that in a little bit. I'm sure that will be hard, Kim. Yes. Okay. Eh, sorry. Even though it's in the 50s out there, I'm still glowing a little bit. Okay, let's jump over here and close that for now. Okay. Shall we begin? Alan Bradley has a new one. While we're doing that, I'm going to do a quick little jaunt here for a minute. Invite some people. Back again. This one's called What Time let's share this tab before we get going. What Time the Sexton Spade Doth Rust. It is next in the Flavia de Luce novel. It is 11th in that series. Good for him. I just keep remembering my granddaddy when my mother passed. Parents are not supposed to bury their children. My granddaddy never recovered. That is true. That is the way. But sometimes there's other plans. I never know how to pronounce this. I've not listened to an audiobook. Deluce? Deluce? Flavia has taken on the mentorship of her odious moon-faced cousin Undine, who has come to live at Buckshaw following the death of her mother. Undine's main talent, aside from cultivating disgusting habits, seems to be raising Flavia's hackles, although in her best moments she shows potential by trespassing, trickery, and other assorted mayhem. When Major Grayley, a local recluse and former hangman, is found dead after a breakfast of poisonous mushrooms, suspicion falls on the Duluth family's longtime cook, Mrs. Mullet. After all, wasn't it she who'd picked the mushrooms, cooked the omelet, and served it to Grayley moments before his death? I have to admit, says Flavia, an expert in the chemical nature of poisons, that I've been praying to God for a jolly good old-fashioned mushroom poisoning. Not that I wanted anyone to die, but why give a girl a gift such as mine without giving her the opportunity to use it? But Flavia knows the beloved Mrs. Mullet is innocent, together with Dogger, estate gardener and partner in crime, and the obnoxious Undine. Flavia sets out to find the real killer and clear Mrs. Mullet's good name. Little does she know that following the case's twists and turns will lead her to a most surprising discovery, one with the power to upend her entire life. I've not read that series. I did try when the first book came out. I don't think I was mature enough for it. Sometimes you have to grow into your reading taste as you outgrow other ones. I should give that a try again. Sophie Kelly, Forever After, 16th in Magical Cats. Good for her. Kathleen is busy running the library and planning her upcoming wedding to Detective Marcus Gordon when she suddenly stumbles across a body in the library. She's surprised to learn that the deceased was in the middle of an unlikely heist. It seems he was trying to steal one of the paintings that had been in a box in the library's workroom. Kathleen never knew any of the library's rotating artwork was valuable and can't imagine what the dead man wanted with it. But then an art history expert called in by the police identifies the almost purloined painting as a piece that might have been part of a previous high-profile art theft. Owen's and Hercules' whiskers are already twitching, and events soon make Kathleen realize that whoever killed the wannabe art thief has more than murder on their mind. Kathleen and her clever cats will have to work fast to prevent anyone else from getting hurt. Murder in the Countryside by Helena Dixon. Of course, if this were Montana, the capital is Helena, not Helena, but it's spelled the same way. I will say Helena. 17th in the Miss Underhay mystery series. Good for her. England, 1936. On a clear autumn day, Kitty and her mischievous spaniel Bertie take a drive to a nearby village. After a long walk in the rolling country hills and a lunch in a pretty tea room, what could be nicer than to buy a couple of bottles of local cider for her husband and partner in crime solving, Matt? Instead, she finds a body in the orchard. Kitty is shocked to discover Titus Blake dead, crushed by his own cider press. The new local detective arrives swiftly, making it clear he has no time for amateur sleuths, especially a woman. Hearing his words, Kitty and Matt are determined to get to the bottom of the mystery before the sour inspector. Titus's estranged brother, reclusive housekeeper, and even his long-suffering son soon make their suspect list. But when the police get wind of Kitty and Matt snooping, the inspector firmly tells them to keep their noses out. Now, in a race to find the killer, the inquisitive pair are stopped in their tracks when their chief suspect is also found dead in the barn. Can Kitty find the rotten apple before it's too late, or will the killer feed her a poisoned fruit first? They push that theme so far. Murder in the Scottish Highlands, Book 1 by D. MacDonald in the Ally McKinley mystery series. For recently retired Ally McKinley, the tiny village of Locharan is the perfect place to open the guest house of her dreams in a lovingly restored old Scottish malt house. Before long, she is making friends with the locals, including Hamish Sinclair, the Earl who owns the nearby castle, because of course she does. But things take an unexpected turn when her first paying guest, American tourist Wilbur Carrington, is found sprawled across her cobblestoned courtyard with a dagger in his back. With the police baffled, Allie's instincts get the better of her and she can't resist launching her own investigation. In no time at all, she and her Labrador puppy Flora are on the case, making inquiries over tea and excellent shortbread. She finds that Wilbur, a keen amateur genealogist, was convinced that he was the rightful Earl of Locharan. Even worse, he had plans that would put many people out of their jobs and even their homes. But which of the locals resorted to murder? The hotel owner fiercely trying to save his business, Locharan Castle's fiercely loyal housekeeper who'd do anything for the Earl, or the Earl himself, whose entire way of life was threatened by what Wilbur knew? Looking for clues, Allie finds a faded photograph in a hidden drawer in Wilbur's room. Could this be the key to solving the mystery? But when one of her suspects dies in a suspicious accident, Allie realizes that things are getting a wee bit too close for comfort. Can she uncover the truth, or will a killer get off scot-free? I bet she solves it because there's a book 2. End of row 1. I included this because it's coming out this week. It's by James Ponti. This is a middle grade book. He is writing the City Spies series, which I love. It's a new series called the Sherlock Society. This is called the Sherlock Society, conveniently. In the tradition of Nancy Drew, 4 kids and 1 grandfather in Miami tackle a decades-old mystery. Siblings Alex and Zoe Sherlock take their last name as inspiration when choosing a summer job. After all, starting a detective agency has to be better than babysitting, boring, lawn mowing, sweaty, or cleaning out the attic, boring and sweaty. Their friends Lena, an avid bookworm, and Yadi, an aspiring cinematographer, join the enterprise, and Alex and Zoe's retired reporter grandfather offers up his sweet aquamarine Cadillac convertible and storage unit full of cold cases. The group's first target is the long-lost treasure supposedly hidden near their hometown Miami. Their investigation into the local doings of famed gangster Al Capone leads them to a remote island in the middle of the Everglades, where they find alarming evidence hinting at corporate corruption. Together with Grandpa's know-how and the kids' intelligence, plus some really slick gadgets, can the Sherlock Society root out the conspiracy? That sounds cute. Oh, the Scottish Highland one looks good. I read a chicklet by her and really liked it. Oh, nice. So she's venturing out. The Dead Shall Inherit, an Elspeth Laird mystery by Ray Anderson. I'm also suspecting Scottishness here because there's plaid. Inheriting the skipper's house from her late Aunt Deirdre MacPhail, a famed Scottish writer, looks like the solution to all of Elspeth Laird's financial problems, but this inheritance soon comes with a dark legacy. New to Sulla's island's wild beauty and fierce weather, Elspeth soon discovers a community divided by her aunt's memory. Some cherish the tourism Deirdre brought, while others blame her for ruining their traditional way of life. Practical jokes escalate to sinister threats, and a murder confirms Elspeth's worst fears. A killer is among them. Well, that'd be a big clue. With tensions rising and allies scarce, Elspeth must navigate a web of secrets and old grudges. As the legend says, the skipper's house brings doom to its owners. Elspeth must unravel the truth before she becomes the next victim of Sulla Island's deadly legacy. Would the City Spies work for Spy versus Spy? Absolutely, and I am counting it. I'm reading book 4 right now. The audiobook is really good. The performer reader does all the accents, and the accents change like every line because each kid has a different accent. It is a fantastic series. Yes, it does count. Well, that's a different cover. Halloween Who Done It by Paula Darnell, fifth in a fine art mystery. And inspiration if you dress your pets up for Halloween. When a flirtatious former member bursts into the Roadrunner during a members' meeting, Amanda and her friends are startled to learn that the beautiful blonde plans to return to their cooperative art gallery. But Monique's going to bring more than her artwork with her. She's also about to bring trouble. On her first night back, she makes eyes at a recently married man who ignores his bride to schmooze the newcomer, and that's just for starters. With a fight over her billionaire husband's will, a private eye who's tracking her, a relative who's had just about all she can take. They threw in an extra word there. Of Monique's outrageous behavior and an ex-boyfriend waiting in the wings, it's no wonder that Monique decides to take a break to attend a Halloween costume party. Although her costume wows the guests, the party comes to an abrupt end when Monique takes a dive from a third-floor balcony. Amanda's sure that the unlucky artist was pushed to her death, and with a house full of masked partygoers, it's no easy task to sort out the suspects. But even though she's busy painting new artwork for an upcoming show while taking care of her lovable golden retriever Letty and her finicky calico cat Mona Lisa, Amanda can't resist doing a little sleuthing on the side. She'll have to hurry, though, if she's going to catch the killer before someone else suffers the same fate as Monique. Now, this one, I guess I applaud them for being creative, but the font is also kind of difficult to read. I listened to a bit of Bless Your Heart yesterday. I got several chuckles just for the southernness of it. Some of it is spot on. Awesome. That's kind of what Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte said. She loved, 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 loved it. And she's in Texas. She said very much southern. This is called Axing at the Antique Store, 7th in the Nightmare, Arizona Paranormal Cozy Mysteries by Beth Dogner. It's never good when a banshee senses a death on the horizon. When that death coincides with the arrival of a frightening new supernatural creature in Nightmare, Arizona, everyone in Nightmare Sanctuary Haunted House is on high alert. Sorry, we've got dogs saying good morning. Olivia Kendrick and her friends just wanted to go shopping at the local antique store. Instead, they wind up embroiled in a murder investigation that hints at some sinister dealings in the old mining town. It seems like everyone had a reason to want the owner of the antique store dead. While Olivia tracks down clues with the help of her growing conjuring skills, she also makes an important discovery about Damien Shackelford's supernatural abilities. Will Olivia's boss be able to use his powers to find his missing father, Baxter? Before he can do that, though, Damien will have to keep Olivia safe when she becomes the target for a vengeful suspect. Can't he do both? End of row 2. I just don't care for paranormal. I know, me too. But I promised I'd read a vampire book, and I'm reading Bless Your Heart. I was looking through my Kindle, and I always tell the story. I don't like vampires, but I accidentally read Discovery of Witches when it first came out. It came out in 2011. I was looking through my Kindle history, and I bought it in 2011. There's a damn vampire in there. Didn't know it. Death Reports to a Health Resort by P.J. Fitzsimmons, ninth in the Anti-Boisjoli series. When his uncle is accused of an impossible crime by the wary and weary and ever leery Inspector Wittersham, Auntie's mom sends him to the wilds of Epping Forest to sort out who could have managed to murder the universally disliked taskmaster of a health resort dedicated to the repression and suppression of the best of the seven sins. This author likes words. I've not read it, but just reading that, this author likes words. And things only get worse for Auntie's Uncle Pim when his nemesis dies in another murder that both eyewitnesses Auntie Boisjoli and Inspector Witterson swear it was impossible. I would almost be interested to check it out just because of the words used there. They have a lot to say out there, those dogs. I was surprised I liked the Shipwreck Cafe. I didn't know until I started there was a ghost, but he was basically just another character and there was no woo-woo, so I didn't mind it. Yeah, it kind of depends on how they do it. Fatal Fixer-Upper by Kathleen Greer, first of the Cozy Corner mysteries. Harper's life at the Cozy Corner bookstore and cafe, a charming little haven she inherited from Aunt Mary. These people inherit these things, has been idyllic. Nestled in the cozy apartment above, Harper relished her days filled with books, coffee, her labradoodle, Rory, and the comfort of never needing to leave her sanctuary. Aunt Mary becomes the prime suspect in a murder investigation on the set of her show, Sell It or Stay. Harper is certain of her innocence, but the evidence says otherwise. Now, with Aunt Mary's freedom on the line, Harper must trade her tranquil routine for the chaos of a murder investigation. Just when the case seems unsolvable, Harper meets Detective Dexter, a sharp-witted and enigmatic investigator assigned to the murder. With his brooding good looks and unorthodox methods, Dexter becomes an unexpected ally. As sparks fly between them, Harper finds an additional reason to solve the murder, one that just might lead to love. Sheringham, Silent Night, Stolen Night, book number 47 by Matthew Costello and Neil Richards. Good for them. With just 2 days before Christmas, young Liam Byrne is caught in the act of burgling the wealthy Marshmallow family home. Liam's wife Shannon is devastated with no money, no hope, no husband, and their baby due any day. But from jail, Liam claims he was set up. As heavy snow blankets Sheringham, can Jack and Sarah do the impossible, find the real culprit, and free Liam in time? Set in the sleepy English village of Sheringham, the detective series brings together an unlikely sleuthing duo, English web designer Sarah and American ex-cop Jack. Thrilling and deadly, but with a spot of tea. It's like Rosamund Pilcher meets Inspector Barnaby. You know, Rosamund Pilcher, this is definitely for an older reference. Each of the self-contained episodes is a quick read for morning commute while waiting for the doctor or when curling up for a hot cuppa. They're selling it as a quick read. How many pages? 134. Oh, just read it when you're at the doctor, love. It's a pretty cover. Surprise Christmas books are coming out already. Oh, there. Yes. We're going to get an onslaught of Halloween that they have been trickling in, and we're going to get Christmas. In fact, there's an Easter one. Hollywood Bodies by J.R. Waterbear. 1987. The streets and nightclubs of Hollywood teem with hair metal bands, rock music grifters, and every flavor of crazy. Glenda Birdsong, one-time rock star, brought low by drugs and bad dieting advice, is working on her comeback album. Until that is, her sleazy manager steals her best song and then winds up dead. Suddenly, bodies are piling up, and Glenda is facing a blackmailer, a murderous freak, and the deadly allure of the very things that brought her down. She'll need all of her wits and legendary stubbornness to survive and find the killer. Welcome to the jungle, Glenda. Next row. Broken Bird, the Last Picks, book number 4 by Gregory Ash. All's Fair in Love and Publishing. It's nearly Christmas, and Dashiell Dawson Dane already has enough on his plate, finding a present for his parents, coming up with excuses not to hang the Christmas lights, and finishing this stupid story he's been writing. Okay, maybe he needs to start writing it. On top of all that, Bobby has been acting, well, strange. The last thing Dash needs, in other words, is to play host when Marshall Crowe, celebrity author and worse, a friend of Dash's parents, come to town. When Marshall dies in the middle of a public reading of his latest novel, Dash can't bring himself to believe it was an accident, but he's determined to stay away from the investigation. Until, that is, the prime suspect shows up on his doorstep begging for his help. The catch? It's the same woman who accused Dash not so long ago of murdering Vivian Carver, Hastings Rock's resident cozy mystery author, Pippi Parker. And helping Pippi might just be the death of Dash. Excuse me. If I were named Pippi, I would at least go to Pippa. That at least has some Britishness to it. Hi, Linda. Oh, you're not late. We're here for a very long time. We started a half hour later than usual, so I could get Keo walked. But also, we're here for a very long time. We've got a lot of books to go through, and I don't have to go to work. Spirits and Sleuths, Book 1 in the Harper Quinn Paranormal Mystery Series by Kira Jane Harper. A haunted mansion, a missing sister, and spectral clues push Harper to uncover her family's dark past. When Harper Quinn returns to the charming but eerie town of Willow Haven to clean out her grandmother's mansion, she expects excuse me, to find memories and ghosts from her past. But what she doesn't anticipate is her sister Ellie's sudden disappearance on the first night they arrive. With the local police dismissing her concerns and her only lead pointing to the enigmatic drinking game, and possibly dangerous Vince, Harper's search for Ellie becomes desperate. The mansion holds secrets Harper must unravel. As she digs deeper, she encounters long buried family mysteries and otherworldly presence that seems intertwined with her fate. Harper must navigate a web of spectral clues and confront her own supernatural past to save her sister before it's too late. Oh, here's another one of those 3-word titles. And it's not Tanya Kappas. Hemlines, Handbags, and Havoc. 6th in the Dogwood Springs Mystery Series by Sally Bayless. Libby Ballard couldn't be more pleased. What could be more charming than hosting a historic fashion show as a special event for the museum she runs in the small town of Dogwood Springs, Missouri? But when tragedy strikes and a spiteful local figure is found dead backstage, the curtain rises on a mystery of murderous proportions. When the police spotlight a suspect who Libby believes is innocent, she realizes she must step in to catch the true culprit and protect the reputation of her beloved museum, already strained by connection to previous murders. With strong determination, a keen eye for detail, and her trusty golden retriever Bella by her side, she embarks on a journey through a labyrinth of lies and long-held grudges. But the suspects are many, the truth is elusive, and the specter of danger lurks in every shadow. Can Libby outwit the killer before another victim falls? They like to end on a question, much like the national anthem. Evil at Essex House. I did like this cover. By Jenna Bennett, 5th in the Pippa Darling mystery. See, Pippa's cool. Pippi is not. My 2 cents. England, August 1926. For months now, Pippa's and Christopher's neighbor Florence Schmolsky, the man hunter with the teeth, has been roaming London society looking for an opportunity to trade her father's American fortune for a British title. Both the Astley cousins, Christopher and Crispin, have landed in her marital sights, a fact that which has not endeared her to Pippa. But when Mr. and Mrs. Schmolsky arrive from America and Flossie is nowhere to be found, Pippa is first in line to offer assistance. She may not have liked Flossie, but she didn't want anything bad to happen to her. And when a ransom note arrives at the Essex House mansions, demanding 50,000 American dollars in exchange for the heiress's safe return, Pippa determines to do everything she can to get Flossie back to her parents. But when the trail leads from the glittering salons of Mayfair to the grimy streets of Southwark and beyond, Pippa discovers that there were aspects to Florence Schmolsky she didn't realize were there, and perhaps it would have been better if she had never found out. I like that last name, Schmolsky. End of that row. Next row. Simon Brett has a new one. Fourth in the decluttering mysteries. Oh, yeah. I'm missing Jerry Lewis this weekend. Been watching telethon videos on YouTube. Back when it meant something. You know, after a while, don't you? We are so jaded, or maybe more aware. All the money that was raised year after year after year. And they never, I'm not going to say they never worked on a solution, but just like pharmacies, if you cure people, you don't have any customers. So I'm jaded. Cajun, I am so over the 3-word title trope. I swear I'm to the point of avoiding them on principle. I'm with you, baby. A messy murder. Professional declutterer Ellen Curtis doesn't need to like her clients to help them sort their homes out. Aging TV personality and curmudgeon Humphrey Carter might have a chip on his shoulder the size of England about the decline of his career, but a job's a job. But when Ellen arrives the morning after Hump's 80th birthday party, primed and ready to tackle his study, no matter his protests, she gets the shock of her life. Hump's dead, and all signs point to him having taken his own life. Did the egotistical chat show host really die by suicide? His wife is adamant he's been murdered, and the more Ellen looks, the more dirt on Hump she digs up, and the more suspects she uncovers. Can she track down a killer, if there even is one? And just as importantly, can she keep herself from killing not only her own infuriating mother, but also her 2 grown-up children, who all seem determined to destroy her peace of mind? Indeed. Oh, come back here. Close out. I got distracted by my... All right. What happened there? Okay. Set the crochet hook aside. Now this cover I think is pretty. You know, they're all so dark, but this one's such a light, pretty one. The Mystery of the Crazy Quilt by Jody Allen Bryce, 5th in the Harlan Creek Mystery Quilters. When a sudden snowstorm blankets the quaint town of Harlan Creek, I, Dove Agnew, and my spirited band of geriatric quilters find ourselves in the midst of a chilling mystery. The cozy calm is shattered when I stumble upon a corpse in Weenie Dunst's kitchen. There's another name. If you're going to be called Weenie, no. The quirky yet beloved Weenie becomes the prime suspect, and it's up to Harlan Creek mystery quilters to clear her name. As if one mystery weren't enough, Petunia, our mischievous pet goat and honorary detective, goes missing, adding a new layer of urgency to our investigation. With humor, heart, and a dash of southern charm, we must weave through the patchwork of clues and suspects. Join me, Dove Agnew, you said that already, and the Harlan Creek Mystery Quilters as we stitch together the truth, unravel secrets, and embark on a delightful quest to bring Petunia back home. Oh, I see what happened. I lost my Amazon page. Hang on a second. Technical difficulties. Here we go. Oh. Oh. There we go. I have a friend whose son died of muscular dystrophy back in 2005. He was 18 or 19. They did receive a lot of help through MDA. Well, that is very good. At least it went to a good cause. But yes, that was definitely a hallmark of Labor Day. French Quarter Fright Night, third in the Vintage Cookbook series by Ellen Byron. Welcome to the Vivre Festival of Fear. Prepare for the spookiest night of your life. It's Halloween in New Orleans, and the staff of Bonvie Culinary House Museum is setting up a fantastic haunted house tour for their visitors. But when flashy movie star Blaine Taggart and his entourage move into the mansion next door, gift shop proprietor Ricky James Diaz gets a fright of her own. While Ricky is excited about the potential business the tours will bring to her vintage cookbook shop, she's less thrilled by former friend Blaine's arrival in town. When Bonvie's prop tomb becomes a real tomb for Blaine's nasty assistant, and suddenly everyone at Bonvie is a murder suspect. There isn't a ghost of a chance one of them committed the crime, but with NOPD busy tackling the mischief and mayhem generated by the spooky holiday, it falls on Ricky and her friends to catch the killer. As the Big Easy gears up for the big scary, it seems everyone has skeletons in their closets. Can Ricky reveal the shadowy killer before someone else becomes part of the Halloween horror show? Speaking of Big Easy, that reminds me of the movie The Big Easy with Dennis Quaid. I like that one. And good to see Dennis Quaid getting his career back on track. And Kim, you saw that movie. Did you like Reagan? I think you did. Phantoms Are Forever by Nix Hallowell, ninth in the Confessions of a Closet Medium. As president of the Chamber of Commerce, I'm determined to make my hometown's first annual Magnolia Market a resounding success. With the eclectic mix of farmers, crafters, and flea market vendors, not to mention the ghosts, I've got my hands full. Before I've gotten everyone settled, valuables begin disappearing, including my late Aunt Willa's heirloom crystal ball. Juggling my market duties while trailing after suspects, I have to dodge a persistent police detective and chase down a runaway bride, all while trying to ignore the ghostly whispers that have always brought me trouble. Caught between the living and the dead, my ghost whispering abilities may be the only thing that can help me recover the crystal ball and save the market. But what will they cost me this time? End of that row. Hocus Pocus by Lily Harper Hart, seventh in a Return to Magic series. A day at the beach turns into potential tragedy when Quinn and Rowan Gray Davenport witness a boat going down in the cove. A quick swim helps them save a father, twin girls, and a set of pouty grandparents, but then things take a turn. Rowan's daughter, Lana, shows the family photos of the rescue later, and everybody they just saved has a death omen hanging over them. Save for one person, the grandmother. That means that death isn't done with the family, and it's up to Rowan and her merry band of paranormal hunters to find the answers necessary to save everybody involved. It seems this isn't the first time tragedy has befallen the family. The twins' mother disappeared months before, abandoning her family and leaving a messy situation behind. As Rowan begins to dig, she realizes there might be more to the story than she ever imagined. The victims have a lot of money, and it's old money, so they're insulated from scandal, but it appears something in their past is threatening their future. It's going to take everybody working together to save them, and even then, some ghosts don't die. They can never be forgotten either. It's a race to the finish. Who will be left standing? I like the vintage cookbook series. Oh, good. School started back the next day. Oh, yes, it was great. I usually get bored during movies, but not that one. It will be a buy when it comes out. Oh, awesome. I'll watch it when it comes to streaming. I like Dennis Quaid. I like Ronald Reagan. It will be glad to hear it's good. Homicide at the Hotel by Kelly Hashway, ninth in the Traumatic Temp Agency series. Haley Hart isn't exactly happy that her latest job placement with the Temp agency is maid service in the local hotel, but she's even unhappier when she discovers a dead body in one of the rooms. The hotel owner is afraid the negative publicity will bankrupt her business, so she hires a private investigator to solve the murder. Now Haley finds herself torn between helping her friend Detective Bilson with the investigation and assisting the PI her boss hired. And the more she digs into this case, the more she feels like the killer is watching her every move. One thing is certain, Haley is over all the dead bodies that keep turning up in her life. She's afraid if she doesn't stop getting involved in murder investigations, she'll be the next victim. No, people will just make jokes about Cabot Cove and all that, especially the ones with 47 books in the series. Speaking of that, tomorrow a new JD Robb comes out. Book number 59 or something. Two Birds, One Crone, 12th in a Spells Angel Cozy Mysteries by Amanda M. Lee. Scout Randall thought she had things well in hand. Then Aloha landed in her lap and life exploded. Baron Samedi does what he wants when he wants. Right now, he wants to learn as much as he can about the new pixie Apex and the Lamia Apex who is gunning for her. These words don't mean anything to me. He doesn't care who he annoys as he gathers his information. Scout's plan is to ignore him. After all, she has ghouls and random fires to deal with, and he's up to mischief one town over. But it becomes apparent quickly that the Loa is in town for more than just a spying mission. It seems Bonnie is no longer in danger of dying. She's mastered her new reality, and now she has a plan. If she can't stop the inevitable big battle, she's going to figure out a way to remove Scout from the equation altogether. If that happens, not only will Scout be gone, but nobody will remember her. Scout wants to win, but is she ready for the sort of battle that requires the ultimate sacrifice? She's about to find out, and it's not going to be pretty. Adult move. Murderous consequences. I never get Cabot Cove jokes either because the same could be said for any town in a cozy mission. That is true. Murderous consequences with the CON highlighted by Nicole Liren. Sadie Sabatini thinks of herself as a modern day Robin Hood who uses her gift as a skilled con artist, to help those who have nowhere else to turn. Leading this life is rewarding, but the number of enemies are piling up. Sadie decides to lay low and start over with a new and legitimate business in the small town of Wilson, Texas, situated on a small peninsula in beautiful Lake Amore. Trouble is never far behind, though, and her past catches up to her in a big way when a friend of a former Mark threatens blackmail for his silence. When he turns up dead and Sadie is the prime suspect, she realizes this time she must protect herself. Her skills prove helpful as she digs deeper into the web of revenge, blackmail, and secrets to discover she's not the only one with the past to hide. As the threats mount, Sadie knows she's closing in on the truth. She now worries that the few new friends she's made in town are in danger because of her. With time running out, can she protect those around her and find the real killer before this new chapter in her life is conned out of a happy ending? End of that row. Told you guys, there's lots of them. Zapped in the Zinnias by Dale Mayer, 26th in the lovely Lethal Gardens. With Matthew's murder done and dusted and her future now wide open, Doreen turns to sorting out her financial world, particularly as her antiques are sold. And helping others is moving up her list of things she wants to do, especially after finding a young woman who wants to get out of the streetwalker world and to move back home. Of course, a decision like that doesn't come without strings, and Doreen and her animals are soon embroiled in pimps and madams, a world she knows nothing about but is quickly learning. Mix that up with Nan getting kidnapped, only to bail her kidnapper out of jail, and Doreen's world is chaos, as usual. Corporal Mac Moreau has a plan, but implementing that plan requires a special moment, the right moment. And trying to figure out when and what that moment looks like is a challenge, especially as it involves Doreen. Dot, 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 dot. Sounds like he wants to propose Doreen. Murder with a Terrace View, a Harrington House mystery by Teresa Michael. Molly Harrington's peaceful life running a B&B is shattered when a local author is found dead. As she delves into the mystery, she uncovers a web of secrets tied to her family's past. With a special ally and a budding romance with the detective, Molly navigates a world of intrigue and danger. This gripping tale blends blah blah blah. And that's all there is. I don't know if I like that cover or not. Maybe if the blue were a different color. Study for Murder, a masterclass mystery by Laurie Robbins, second in that series. Murder has no place in Liz Hopewell's perfect suburban life. She left her complicated past behind her when she moved from Brooklyn to New Jersey, and she's determined to forget the violence that shadowed her early years. As an English teacher, wife, and mother, Liz now confines her fascination with existential dread to classroom discussions about Frankenstein and Hamlet. But violence follows her from the mean streets of her childhood home to the manicured lawns of suburbia when Elliot Tumbleton's head has an unfortunate and deadly encounter with a golf club, her golf club. A second murder, a case of mistaken identity, and a rollicking trip back to her childhood home all point to one prime suspect in each crime. Liz embarks upon a double investigation of homicides past and present using her gift for literary theory to unearth clues, and you said that degree wasn't going to help you, that she finds as compelling as forensic evidence. But the killers, like her students, don't always read to the end. Well, that's a different one. Ooh, Arena Shapiro has a new one in a series I like. 14th in the Redmond and Hayes mysteries. I like this series. Murder of Innocence by Arena Shapiro. Okay, I had to look up Lovely Lethal Gardens. It's alphabetical series letter in the letter naming command. Oh, okay. If you're going to write that many books, you got to come up with some kind of thing to keep track. Summoned to a historic Tudor manor, Jason and Daniel are charged with investigating the heart-wrenching murder of two small boys. To discover who would have a motive to commit such a heinous crime, they must delve into the unexpectedly complicated relationships between the manor's inhabitants. Untangling a web of secrets leads them closer to the truth and directly into the sights of a killer who will stop at nothing to escape justice. Will Redmond and Hayes solve the case before one of them pays the ultimate price? That is a good series. Next row. But I need something to drink just a minute. I need to vet my whistle. Agnes Sharp and the Trip of a Lifetime by Leonie Swan and translated by Amy Bojang. The year is rapidly drawing to an end. Hetty the tortoise is hibernating, and Agnes, Charlie, Marshall, and the other elderly residents of Sunset Hall are going stir crazy at home. They've had enough of the broken boiler, drafty bedrooms, and Christmas jingles on the radio. And to top it all off, another series of murders is rocking the hamlet of Duck End. It seems like every villager and his dog is trying to make up for all the thwarted murders of the past 30 years. Most unpleasant. The residents of Sunset Hall don't want anything to do with the criminal activities. So when Edwina manages to slip onto Marshall's computer in an unobserved moment and promptly wins a stay in an exclusive coastal hotel in Cornwall, the Sunset Hall crew doesn't waste any time in deciding to join her. After all, Edwina can't be left unsupervised. But they've barely unpacked their bags when Agnes sees something unsettling from the terrace of the hotel. Two figures in hoods walk away from the hotel along the cliffs, but only one returns. Worried she's witnessed a murder, Agnes tells the others. At first, nobody really believes her. After all, the crew have enough to do working their way through the incredible menu, exploring the hotel's wellness landscape, navigating old and new love affairs, and adopting a boa constrictor, as one does. But when the hotel ends up isolated from the outside world after a storm, it becomes clear that a murderer really is on the loose, and they're trapped just like all the other guests. Here's the Easter Bunny one. Death by Jelly Beans, although it might win a great title award. I've added several series to Goodreads this morning. Awesome! I'm going to be checking out a couple. This is by Susie Black, fifth in the Holly swimsuit mystery. Mermaid swimwear president Holly Schlivnik, those fun names, discovers. Hang on, my computer's trying to go dim on me. No. Thank you. Discovers the Bainbridge department store Easter Bunny slumped over dead, and obnoxious swimwear buyer Sue Ellen McGee is arrested for the crime. Despite her differences with the nasty buyer, Holly is convinced the Queen of Mean didn't do it. The cracking, irreverent amateur sleuth jumps into action to nail the real killer. But when the trail has more twists than a pretzel and more turns than a roller coaster, and nothing turns out the way Holly thinks it will as she tangles with a clever killer hell-bent on revenge. Well, if you don't want to read a Easter one during Halloween/Christmas, you can maybe bookmark that one for Easter. Crazy for Death by Tia Brown, 23rd in the Amy Hammond Cozy Mysteries. A crazy quilt and a woman with early onset Alzheimer's lead Amy Hammond and her husband's latest protege, journalist and conspiracy theorist Bob Reed, to a new place and an entirely new sort of trouble. The woman is convinced that the quilt holds the story of a long ago murder that was covered up, and when Amy finds her body on the beach at Pool Harborside, it's up to her and her husband, the nothing like it, the nothing like as he claims he wants to be, former spy Peter Cunningham, to unravel a mystery that has disturbing links to the present. Royal Marine Commando Officer Major Luke Grant brings his specialist expertise to the investigation, and Peter's goddaughter Stacy brings her sewing abilities, which, is so helpful in solving crimes, and a determination that no one else should have to die in the way that her mother was murdered. But Amy and Peter are off home territory this time, and they can't be even sure that one murder has been committed, let alone two or three. So they can unravel the past and discover whether there are clues in the embroidered quilt in time to prevent any more deaths. I think I had a problem with that because none of that was making sense to me. Barely Evidence by Lois Schmidt, fourth in a Christy Farrell Mysteries. Okay, that is a cute cover, the Easter one. Okay. Yeah. Linda, so far 3 series, but I have so many. Just add it. TBRs are for growing. When a body is found in the Happy Place Animal Sanctuary, wildlife reporter Christy Farrell is on the case. She discovers this was no accident, it was murder. 5 people were present at the sanctuary when the death occurred. As Christy digs deeper into the victim's past, she uncovers dark secrets affecting each of these 5 suspects, providing powerful motives for the crime. Meanwhile, life is anything but calm on the home front. The best friend of Christy's widowed mother is the victim of a pyramid scam. Christy, assisted by her veterinarian daughter, is determined to expose the fraud, although it may be at great personal risk. Back at the sanctuary, things are spiraling downhill. Wolves escape, and another body is found. With the bad publicity, the sanctuary may be forced to close, and a killer is still on the loose. Despite being thwarted at every turn by her nemesis, the blustery Detective Wolf, Christy uncovers a major hole in the alibi of a key suspect, but as she gets nearer to closing in on this murderer, she might become the third victim. End of that row. I tell you guys, there's lots. There's lots. Oh, we can do it. A Seaside Murder by Alice Castle, second in the Sarah Vine Mysteries. Newly retired Sarah Vane is completely settled in Merstairs, enjoying the quirky, quaint feel of her new home. With some time on her hands, she decides to surprise her friend Daphne by cleaning her dusty, cluttered seafront shop. But when she arrives there early one morning, Sarah is shocked to find a dying woman on the doorstep, who utters one word before she takes her last breath. Wits. The victim is Abby Moffat, a much-loved schoolteacher. Who could want her dead, and what could wits possibly mean? Could the answer to Abby's death be Whitstable, the posher town along the coast, or on a card from the luxurious Witz Hotel found in her pocket? Or was it her scorned ex boyfriend, Joshua Witzel, who sent Abby countless postcards and flowers after they broke up? All roads seem to lead to dead ends, and as Sarah talks to the locals, it becomes clear that Abby had many admirers, but not a single enemy. But then a member of the Merstairs Craft Club is found dead at the local fun fair. At first glance, the two victims seem to have nothing in common until Sarah takes a closer look at the clues and realizes there is something shocking in the close knit Mersters community that links them. With This Witch I Thee Dead by Bella Colby, fourth in the Wedding Witch Cozy Mystery Series. Skylar Blackwood's days in the sleepy seaside town of Tidewater are a whirlwind in a cauldron. She's loving the bustle of wall-to-wall summer weddings, the forgotten thrill of using her magic, and the fun of flirting with the dashing doctor who won't take no for an answer. The shocking discovery of a dead body casts a jinx on all that. Once again, Sky finds herself in competition with her detective ex-husband. Ignoring the handsome jerk while cracking the case before he does is one hex of a challenge. But not everyone is as they seem. Can she muster enough magical mojo to stop herself becoming the murderer's next mark? Well, here's another Christmas one. A Christmas Murder by Mary Grand. That's that's a pretty cover. Susan didn't plan on being an amateur sleuth, and after two successful investigations, she's looking forward to a quiet Christmas. So when local businesswoman Mira is in desperate need of help, Susan agrees rather reluctantly. The task should be easy enough. The infamous press mogul Duncan Fern is coming back to the Isle of Wight, the scene of his family's childhood holidays, to celebrate Christmas with his grown-up children and their partners, his new glamorous wife Kirsten, who is forever dripping with diamonds, and the spiky editor of his paper, The Morning Flame, Antoine. The newly refurbished, luxurious Bishopstone Manor is the perfect setting for a festive break, and all Susan has to do is help Mira host. But when a snowstorm descends over the island and the following morning a body is found, Christmas at the manor takes a darker turn. Can Susan get to the bottom of the mystery before the murderer strikes again? That actually sounds kind of good. Oh, look, Tanya Kappas has a new one. Shock. 15th in the Killer Coffee Mysteries, Iced Coffee Corruption. As the crisp fall air and vibrant leaves set the scene in Honey Springs, Roxy Bloom is busy prepping the bean hive for the annual Friendsgiving Harvest Fest. The excitement turns to dread when the Pet Palace adoption pup deputy discovers a body disguised as a scarecrow. The plot thickens with the discovery of a pen and a cryptic note linked to a major festival sponsor. Juggling her bustling coffee shop seasonal treats and the brewing mystery, Roxy must unravel the clues before the killer strikes again. Packed with southern charm, autumn delights, and the cozy coffee shop vibes, etc., etc. That's a bit more seasonal. What a shock! I know. Poor woman. Huh, I was typing as you said it. Killer brownies. Oh, don't mess with brownies, man. A Sea Glass Beach Mystery, book number 1 by Amelia Pine. When a beloved internet food personality is murdered, bridal boutique milliner Paige Andrews must don her detective hat. Must she? Can she uncover the truth before it's too late, or will the real killer serve her a slice of danger? Welcome to Sea Glass Beach, California, where sunshine and surf hide dark secrets beneath the waves. Paige has her perfect new beginning, a quaint cottage, a thriving design career, and a vulnerable rescue beagle. Oh, beagle. But when a famous internet food personality is murdered, she finds herself caught in a web of deadly intrigue with her friend Abby as the prime suspect. With humor, determination, and a dash of style, Paige and her group of quirky friends race against time to uncover the truth. Bonus recipes included. Murder at the Marina. Keo has the hiccups. This is by Jackie Sharp. After years of typing up case reports and fetching coffee for her boss at Thurgood Investigations, Inc., Sarah Cooper finally retired, trading in her desk for a cozy life aboard her tugboat in the picturesque town of Shell Bay. But old habits die hard, and when a dead body turns up at the marina, Sarah can't resist the urge to dust off her detective skills and dive into the investigation. Armed with a lifetime of secondhand sleuthing experience and an insatiable curiosity, Sarah begins to piece together the clues, much to the annoyance of Detective Sergeant Linda Jenkins. As the two women butt heads and compare notes, they uncover a labyrinth of secrets hidden beneath the tranquil surface of the coastal community. But as Sarah soon learns, there's a big difference between reading about investigations and conducting them herself. From navigating the complex web of small town relationships to facing down dangerous suspects, Sarah quickly realizes that this case might be more than she bargained for. With each twist and turn, she must draw upon her wits, her courage, and her years of experience in the shadows of Thurgood Investigations, Inc. to stay one step ahead of a killer who will stop at nothing to keep the truth buried. Murder at the Matinee. We've been doing this for an hour and we're not done. Wow, how's that for a description there? By Jamie West, Book 2 in the Bertie Carroll Mysteries. Following on the success of Death on the Pier, gay playwright detective Bertie Carroll returns for the second book in this Golden Age style whodunit mystery series set in the exciting world of Theaterland in 1930s London. An unexpected phone call from a rival playwright puts Bertie center stage in another mystery. Can he help unravel the motive behind a mysterious newspaper advert that boldly declares a murder will take place during a show's third act? There's only one problem. There is no murder in the third act of the play. When a victim is discovered and the police are brought in, Bertie and Inspector Hugh Chapman get thrown awkwardly back together as they both work to find the killer. The spotlight falls on each suspect in turn, and this time, even Bertie is not above suspicion. But can rivalries and differences be put aside to solve this devious murder? Paws and Leashes by Corrine Winters, 13th in the Cats, Walking Dogs, and Solving Mysteries series. Novice witch Katie Houseman knows that darkness is brewing and she's readying her magic, but when a new murder investigation starts up, she might need more help than ever before, because she's a suspect. With the police convinced she's the killer, Katie turns to her friends, her magic, and her familiar Biscuit to find the real murderer. But every clue leads to another suspect with motive and opportunity. Between dodging accusations, investigating alibis, and fighting against dark witches, Katie needs to master new spells fast. The real killer is still out there, and if Katie can't stop them, she might be their next victim. But will time be on Katie's side? End of that row. All right, we've got a row and a half, and then we'll talk about Spy versus Spy. But these are all cozy mysteries releasing this week. We have picked a good hobby. Lots of books every week. The Tabby Did It by M. Culler, Joe Center. How many authors are there? Judy Lynn Ikanian, C.N. Hill, and 4 more who don't get to be listed. Oh, that sucks. DJ Tedrow, Brown, John Fredericks, Carol McAdoo, and more. Those don't get to. A cat show caper solved by a bumbling private investigator and her suave sidekick, a robotic canine detective who must solve his own hacking before it's too late, and a case of feline treachery that has a dog in distress. Intrigued? All of these cozy mystery tales. Oh, they're short stories. Well, I should have known. Blah. I don't like short stories. We're moving on. Too many books to look at. Louis Hurdy and a Little Bit of Greed by Cameron McVeigh. Welcome to Puma Springs, a town in the middle of the mountains. People come here to get out of the heat and get away from cramped city living. Come, Enjoy the wide open spaces, the sun, the river, the friendly locals, but don't stay too long or you'll get caught up in this town's mysterious history and its deadly present. Lewis Hurdy goes to work at the library one day and his boss asks him to work on a special project. Before long, Lewis and his friends are tangled up in a series of odd events. First, town centenarian Welmer Evanston is found dead. It's an apparent suicide, but why? Welmer loved his life and he loved Puma Springs. What could drive him to take his own life? Then Lewis's boss, Samantha Melmirth, the one who got him involved in this in the first place, disappears. Almost immediately, Sheriff Potter drags Lewis even deeper into the mystery. Or is it mysteries? Just what are people hiding? Just what is out there in the woods? Just how far will Lewis go to find out the truth? Stop asking questions. Opening Night Knives by Jack Murray, fourth in the Bobby Flynn mysteries. Reporter Bobby Flynn finds herself thrust into the heart of danger after the attempted murder of theater impresario Smiley Stanton. On the opening night of a much anticipated play, Smiley Stanton is mysteriously stabbed while sitting in the second row of the audience, sending shockwaves through the theater community and beyond. And that beyond includes the mob, who owns a major share of the theater run by Smiley and who use it as a location for a high rolling craps game. When Smiley is killed while lying in his hospital bed, Bobby investigates with the help of her father, Inspector Flynn, a certain young detective called Nolan, and private investigator Dick Devenish. Can Bobby find the killer before the curtain falls on another victim? The Body in the Greenhouse by Diana Zarissa, seventh in a Sunset Lodge mystery series. When Abigail and Mandy go on a farm tour with local farmer Herman Black, they're excited to see what they can share with their guests during their upcoming special event weekend. Their very last stop is at a trio of greenhouses that Herman turned over to his children years ago. A single plant growing in the one disused greenhouse draws Mandy's attention. The skeletal remains under the plant's bench bring the police to the farm. The dead man had a complicated history in Nightshade, and it isn't long before the sisters find themselves in the middle of another murder investigation. When the farmer's daughter, who was also once romantically involved with the victim, arrives at Sunset Lodge for a short stay, the sisters learn more about both the victim and the many suspects. Another unexpected guest, more surprise revelations, and an extra helping of dessert lead Abigail and Mandy to the killer in this, their seventh book. End of that row. Two more. We can do this. Did you stretch? Do you have something to drink? A Murder in Malta by Anne Crew. First of 13. How do we know there's 13? Did I check this one? I thought I checked all of them. And it came out in May. All right, we can take that one out. Whew, one more. Last one. How do they know there's 13? That must be a reprint. I try to catch them. Sorry about that, guys. A Seaside Murder by Alice Castle. Did we read this one? Yes, we did. We're done. Woo! I must have been delirious by the end there. Ah, Linda says, I love cat books. There's lots of them, so there's some ones to check out. Goodreads says it's an anthology. Okay. I don't like to include those. Kim, it appears the last one on the page is a duplicate, The Seaside Murder. All right, you were right. Those are the new releases. I did run get some more tea before we started. All right, those are the Cozy Mysteries being released this week. That's a lot. About 44 of them. All right, next up. Spy versus Spy. Okay. So, What is spy versus spy? I get asked this. I don't really have an elevator pitch type of explanation. Last year, I read Alias Emma by Ava Glass and fell in love. I really, really love that book. And it made me realize I missed reading spy books. Now, to me, what are spy books? Spy books are espionage, counter espionage. They can be focused on one single mission. If you watch James Bond, if they're after one particular guy, if they are out to stop killing, saving the planet kind of thing, um, or it can be wider spread in that they're fighting the Cold War and trying to stop terrorism and things like that. I like them because I like intrigue. I like puzzles with adventure. I like smarter intelligence books. Spy books can also be the intelligence side, the analytical side of things. Hi, Rosemarie. Welcome, welcome. I can't put a little rose there, but it's there. So we're starting to talk about my readathon I do in September called Spy versus Spy September. We had been looking at the cozy mysteries for the last hour that are being published this week, but now we're going to look at some options for Spy versus Spy. So last year, after reading Alias Emma, I decided they needed to be highlighted, just like I do for my historical mystery readathons. They are books that I think people are afraid to read, um, avoid them, thinking they're not enjoyable. So I decided to set up this readathon in September because it just worked out with Spy versus Spy, and to highlight that side of the crime fiction genres. And I called it Spy versus Spy from Mad Magazine. If you are of a certain age, you grew up with Mad Magazine and the comic strip Spy versus Spy, where it was they never beat each other. It's much like Roadrunner with trying to outdo the other, and they never really make much progress. Um, and Rosemary said, "Good morning, fellow book readers." And Linda, I just finished Spy versus Counter Spy. It's not as good as his best books. I would have given 3 stars. Gotcha. So, to participate in Spy versus Spy September, I don't have any prompts. It is just read where your mood takes you and what might you might find intriguing to you. I just would like you to give it a try. Reading one book counts. Um, so what I would like to do is just highlight some books that I think are good options. There are lots of different kinds of espionage book. There are uh, classic spy books, Cold War. There are romantic spy books. A lot of them are featuring the Regency era because of the Napoleon Wars. Um, there's humorous ones, parody ones. There's more of the intelligence side. There's more of the assassination side. There's more of the international terrorist side. There's more of the James Bond kind. So there's lots and lots of options there. So I have made a Amazon list that is available to the public if you want to look through them. I'll put that link here. Some of these I've read, some of these I've put here just because they are good options. Some of them are here because I would like to check them out myself. And near the top of this list, so this list goes on for quite a while. I went through these last year towards the bottom here. So if you want to go check out some things, it's by no means the only ones out there, and really anything counts. I would just like you to give it a try. Um, if you like thrillers, I always recommend this one as a possible starting place is the Alias Emma book. So there's three now in the series. The third one comes out tomorrow. I was able to read an arc of it, and the series is holding up. So this one is a female in an agency in London that is MI5 adjacent, and she has 12 hours to get the son of a Soviet defector to safety. The Russians are trying to kill him. He's a doctor. Problem is, you think, oh, that's not hard. Go from one side of London to the other, get him to safety. Problem is, the Russians have control of the CCTV system, so they can see any movement they make. So they have to figure out a way to get from one side of London to the other without getting killed by the Russians. And it's a nonstop chase thriller. If you are liking the historical mystery side of things or want to try it, or if you like Scarlet Pimpernel, this series is very much in that vein. The Secret History of the Pink Carnation series. There's 12 books in this series by Lauren Willig. Each book is a different flower named uh, spy during the Regency. I really love that one. Moving up, we've gone through these City Spies. Kim had asked, absolutely. There's some great ones for kids. Spy School is another big one. Spy Family X is a manga one if you want to just look at pictures. Scarlet Pimpernel himself there. Susan Elia McNeil has a series of espionage during World War II. Her Royal Spyness by Reese Bowen is another good one. If you want to go classic, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, John Le Carre. If you want something more modern, there's Slow Horses series by Mick Herron, and it's been made into a mini series. Gray Man, they made that first book into a movie, but that has multiple books in the series. You could count the Daniel Silva ones. He's an art historian. Oh, excuse me, art historian. Oh, excuse me, but also Israeli. You got the classic James Bond by Ian Fleming. The classics, Mrs. Halifax, Charlie Muffin is a good series. You can do fantasy spies. You can do sci-fi spies. On the analytical side, I really, really love the books by Mark Henshaw. He's not writing them anymore, but there were about 4 or 5 in that series. Standalones, The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. That was a great historical one. Thank you. Love Tosh Alexander. Indeed. You can certainly count that because he certainly does some things uh, for the crown. Harriet the Spy. That was my favorite book growing up. Little Drummer Girl. Great book. Great miniseries. That's now on Amazon, but it started out on AMC. some teen ones. I'd tell you I love you, but then I'd have to kill you. Some more historical ones. Kid Spy, Jada Sly, Artisan Spy for kids. Miniseries based on this book, Killing Eve, Codename Villanelle by Luke Jennings. Mrs. Smith's Spy School for Girls. The Last Spymaster by Gail Linz. Fantasy one, The Spy Who Tamed a Dragon. I've not read all of these. I've read some. And Cajun was going to try Operation Underpants by Mark A. Biggs. A Gentleman's Game by Greg Rucka. I have read that one a long time ago. The Moneypenny Diaries. If you want to see the James Bond world from Moneypenny's side of things. Got classics like the Tom Clancy books. Again, I count those as spy books because it's espionage. It's counter-espionage. Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayburn. She's going to have a book 2 next year. Stacey Abrams. Intelligence by Susan Hasler. That one's a standalone. I read that one. Charles Cumming. Any of his books. He writes several different spy trilogies. Spotless, you got a little sense side of romance in that one. Double or Nothing, that is the world of James Bond, except it's covering some of the other double O's. Red Sparrow, they made that into a movie with Jennifer Lawrence, I believe. Vanilla Vendetta by Rosie A. Point, that's a cozy one. Mother Daughter Traitor Spy by Susan Ilya McNeil. That one I believe is a standalone. These last few I've just added recently. Cajun, I was going to show you this one as well. Thank you. I think I took my allergy medicine, did I? This is a 14-book series, The Armstrong Assignment by Diana Zarissa. Janet Markham's wedding day is perfect in every way, and she can't imagine anything better than spending 2 weeks in Paris and 2 weeks in Venice on her honeymoon. Less than 24 hours later, though, her husband, Edward Bennett, has gone missing. The last thing Janet is going to do is sit around and wait for him to come back. It isn't long before she's managed to get herself tangled up in Edward's assignment, whether he wants her there or not. Can Janet help Edward protect Bobby Armstrong from whoever's trying to kill him? Can they both keep up the pretense that they've never met before, or will Edward's handler, Mr. Jones, get Janet sent back to Dale before she can do anything at all? And there are 14 in that series, so I thought that one was an interesting, cozy-ish kind. If you don't want all the darker terrorist side of things. This one I just found also another cozy-ish kind by Julie Moffat. 14 in this series, Lex Carmichael Mysteries. No One Lives Twice. I'm Lexi Carmichael, a geek extraordinaire. I spend my days stopping computer hackers at the National Security Agency. My nights? Those I spend avoiding my mother and eating cereal for dinner. Even though I work for a top secret agency, I've never been in an exciting car chase, sipped a stirred, not shaken martini, or shot a poison dart from an umbrella. Until today, that is, when my best friend disappears. So I've enlisted the help of the Zimmerman twins, the reclusive architects of America's most sensitive electronic networks, to help me navigate a bewildering maze of leads to find her. Along the way, my path collides with a sexy government agent and a rich, handsome lawyer, both of whom seem to have the hots for me. Hacking, espionage, sexy spy men. It's a geek girl's dream come true. So this, as I say, is by no means What was the first cozy one? Lost my glasses. The Armstrong Assignment by Diana Zarissa. Vanilla Vendetta by Rosie A. Point. She does that food truck series. Let's look at that one. Good question. 6 in this series. A Mission Impossible cozy mystery. The last thing spy extraordinaire Charlie Mission wanted was an early retirement in Gossip, Texas. As an ex-spy, the inn is about as exciting as a runny cupcake batter. I was going to tell you about this one too, Cajun. But Charlie's got no choice. It's hideout in her grandmother's inn or risk discovery by the rogue spy who's out to make her pay. Her ex-husband. Being a maid and a waiter at the Gossip Inn isn't as simple as Charlie anticipated, even with a superstar ex-agent Granny for company. Her first day on the job is a total disaster, made even worse when one of the guests drops dead on the dining room floor. It's murder, and Charlie's the prime suspect. Can she find the truth, or will her ex find her first? It's a Kindle Unlimited, and each cover is very bright. Added to my challenge possibilities list. May have been. I'll try to rewind and find it. Okay. My not so normal life, spy recruit. My name is Lillian Jamorsky. I am not your normal 11-year-old. I am a spy. I speak 4 languages and know how to defend against someone 3 times my size. As a new recruit, I have learned a lot about being a spy. What I haven't learned is how to lie to my best friend Becky or how to get my team captain to stop hating me. Hang on a second. There was one here. Was it this one? This one was a sci-fi one. Oh, no, it's this one. If you want to do spy versus spy and vampire for Storm's readathon, here's one that has both. The Fixer, 35 books in this series, the Lawson Vampire series. Meet Lawson, vampire by birth, fixer by trade. How were you born a vampire? His mission, preserve the secret existence of living vampires by any means necessary. There's just one problem. His oldest enemy, Cosgrove, is back, killing humans and threatening to unleash an ancient, unholy evil. Can Lawson stop Cosgrove and adhere to the very laws he has sworn to uphold by not falling in love with a beautiful human ex-KGB assassin named Talia? So if you want to combine those 2 readathons in one, and then this one is a sci-fi spy book. The Bayern Agenda, The Galactic Cold War by Dan Morin. There's 4 books in this series so far. Simon Kovalek, top intelligence operative for the Commonwealth of Independent Systems, is on the front line of the burgeoning Cold War with the aggressive Illyrican Empire. He barely escapes his latest mission with a broken arm and vital intel, which points to the Empire closing up to the Bayern Corporation, a planet-sized bank. There's no time to race. With Kovalek out of action, his undercover team is handed over to his ex-wife, Lieutenant Commander Natalie Taylor. When Kovalek's boss is tipped off that the Imperium are ready and waiting, it's up to the wounded spy to rescue his team and complete the mission before they're all caught and executed. So like I say, you can define it however your taste goes. And reading just one counts. So I am going to be reading, where'd it go? I've added that Bayern agenda as a possibility. I like sci-fi. Um, I'm currently reading Triple Cross, third in trilogy by Tom Bradby, Kate Henderson. She is a um, she's an agent female, kind of international. It's good. I do like the one. And if you don't want to commit to like a series, like some of these are, that one's only 3 books. City Spies, absolutely adore it. And I recommend the audiobook. I'm going to be reading The Spy Coast by Tess Gerritsen. And this is actually going to be a series. Book 2 comes out soon. I'd gotten this last year and didn't get to it. Lots and lots of blurbs there. And she has written a lot. She's the author of the Rosolian Isles series. And I'm going to be reading Betrayal at Blackthorn Park. This is second in a World War II series. I read the first one last year, A Traitor in Whitehall. This one comes out in October. I did get a NetGalley arc of that one. So those are the ones I'm going to be trying to get to this month. Let's go back to Spy. There's Spy. I remember the Rick Springfield TV show where he was a vampire cop. It was bad, but it was Rick Springfield, so that was the main thing. I never watched it. You know, I love Rick Springfield, but I didn't watch it. I wonder if it's on. It's probably on Amazon Prime. Everything's on Amazon. There's a movie. I'm not seeing the series. Might have to go on to IMDb. Anyway, any questions or want me to look at anything further there? Again, just reading one counts. Give it a try and see if you like it. Same with the historical mysteries. You won't know if you like it until you try it, and there's lots of them to try. Whatever your taste is. Alrighty, so quick announcements. I don't have sprints tonight. It's on one of the other Killer Cozy peoples tonight. I will have sprints tomorrow night. I do them 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Those go for 2.5 hours. And Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern. Those go for 5 hours. Tomorrow we are back to our regular schedule starting at 6 in the morning, but I do repost these so you can watch them at your leisure. And we'll be looking at the mysteries and thrillers being released this week. New publications that way. Is it? Okay. Linda says, I want to try the Vamp Spy. You know, read the sample and see if it's something you might like. Worth a shot. Kim Tiffany tonight. Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, guys, I'm gonna go have some breakfast. Go back to bed for a little bit because I can. And today I'm just gonna be doing a whole lot of crocheting on the wedding bedspread, finishing my first Spy versus Spy book, Triple Cross, and continue listening to City Spies. So spies and crochet, that's my day. Hope you guys are having a very good, safe Labor Day weekend. Hope everyone has a good day. Indeed, you too. And Read good books. If you're not enjoying it, it's okay to set aside a book. It's not a reflection of you or the author or the book. It's not just not the right time for those three things to come together. You can always come back to it. Kim says, have a great day, everyone. Same to you guys. Thank you very much for watching. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom, nom, nom. Have a good day. God bless.